Do you believe, esteemed guests, that intelligent life has ever existed on our planet? Does space travel actually occur, or is it just in our heads? At last, the solution to that mystery is staring us in the face. A NASA science fiction filmmaker has dropped bombshells on extraterrestrials. Astronauts on Earth have found signs of intelligent life, he added, therefore aliens must exist. This lecturer claims that within the following month, we will have the concrete proof. Both the general public and specialists are paying close attention to the newly available material. What does this narrative mean? How trustworthy is this data? In this video, we will discover the answer. I hope you have a rejuvenating and significant moment. I say we find out now. Who or what is the source of this data? We have discovered a non-human civilization on our planet, and nobody seems to know about it. The statements of Simon Holland, a professor, filmmaker, and well-known YouTuber, who spoke to the media, originated from this source. In the past, Mr. Holland has worked on documentaries for clients including the BBC and NASA. A startling claim that Earth's astronomers have discovered signs of an extraterrestrial civilization was recently made by him. According to him, he received this information from a researcher on the Breakthrough Listen initiative, which aims to discover signs of alien civilizations. According to him, a few years ago they discovered a clue to the existence of intelligent beings that are not human. Can you tell me the proof that Holland brought up? This is the 980 MHz radio signal that the Breakthrough Listen program collected on September 24, 2019. Parker Observatory in Australia records a distinct radio signal that travels directly to Earth from the star Proxima Centauri for around 5 hours. This signal is known as BLC-1 among scientists. There are 2 planets in orbit around Proxima Centauri. One of them is a massive gas giant similar to Neptune, while the other is a Proxima b planet, which is located in the star's habitable zone. This means that any water present on the planet will be found in the nebula. Scientists are still enthralled by the idea of the star potentially serving as an extraterrestrial home due to its primary characteristics. The discovery of the signal ignited a passionate discussion on its source. At 980 MHz, the transmission became audible. Astronomers think that a human plane or satellite is unlikely to produce it at this frequency. Additionally, the best theory is that it might be an ET technological signal. By 2021, however, scientists have dismissed this theory as unlikely and are instead assuming that the results are either fabricated or contaminated by some unknown human technology on Earth, maybe even in Australia. No one at the time considered the possibility that it may be a signal from endangered alien visitors. But by 2023, researchers from the UK's University of Oxford were in charge of the Bretrolitsen project. Further investigation of this signal by experts at Oxford University revealed indications that it had extraterrestrial origins. When Icelandic entrepreneur, investor, and scientist Yuri Minner launched Bretrolitsen in January 2016, it was a $100 million non-profit venture. In the quest for signs of advanced alien civilizations, this is the most extensive scientific investigation to yet. As an example of a groundbreaking initiative, there are the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI, initiatives that use radio spectroscopy. According to Mr. Holland, the astronomers working on the project at Oxford University have found proof of signals coming from other planets and will be able to publish their findings next month. Clear proof is required for the breakthrough claims, thus astronomers are rushing to gather additional information so they can announce this finding. In terms of releasing information, Mr. Holland claims that the Oxford project team is presently competing with scientists from China. With the help of the 500-meter fast telescope, Chinese scientists supposedly knew the target object's magnitude, the BLC-1 spacecraft. Following the Arecibo's demise, this is the biggest telescope in the world. To see who can be the first to publish information, China is vying with the Oxford initiative. Whoever publishes first misses the mark. What matters most is whether or not advanced alien civilizations genuinely exist. This could be the most stunning development in the history of astronomy if proven correct. The subject of whether or not aliens possess artificial intelligence has perplexed scientists, journalists, and the general public for a long time. Consequently, the solution to this challenging topic will be made by Oxford or China, and a new age will begin for human planetary research. However, they are only extraterrestrial rumors, nothing more. The esteemed Mr. Holland has been honored as a BBC editor. He is not a part of the worldwide listening experiment Breakperlisten since he got a master's degree in media studies after leaving the BBC. Even if several media outlets, including well-known publications like The Mirror and Daily Mail, as well as numerous Vietnamese newspapers, have published his words as surprising news, the reality behind them still requires someone to speak up. Neither comments nor publications on the subject have been issued by NASA as of this writing. There is reluctance to remark from other scientific groups as well. Are you in agreement? Is this event something you believe in or not? Post your opinions in the space provided. No conclusive evidence of alien life has been detected by humans at this time. On the other hand, I have faith that as technology and science advance, we will soon have an answer to the issue of whether or not we are alone in space. Our home planet is the Milky Way. Since our planet is located inside the Milky Way, we are unable to capture images of it from space. From Earth, though, you can see the Milky Way in the night sky without a telescope because it is so big and brilliant. From dark, light-polluted locations, the Milky Way will extend across the sky like a rainbow at sunset. It extends all the way from the northern solar plexus to the southern solar plexus. As far as we can tell, the Milky Way is a square galaxy centered on a planetary disk. Measuring its magnitude is an arduous task. The equipment's density is one of several variables. The Milky Way's diameter has been determined to be around 100,000 light-years after extensive observation and computation over many years. Is 100,000 light-years a large number? 5 light-years is a unit of measurement for distance rather than time. The estimated annual distance of light transmission by astronomers is 5 light-years. Light travels across space at a velocity of around 300,000 kilometers per second. The speed of light in a year is around 9.5 trillion kilometers, which may be expressed as the product of the number of seconds in a year and the speed. That works out to 950 trillion kilometers for 100,000 light-years. In the rear, you can make out the numerals 950 and 150 if you jot it down. It is difficult to fathom the size of the Milky Way. However, you must now have a hazy understanding of the Milky Way's enormity when seen at night. Correct? However, delving further into the Milky Way will reveal its contents, allowing you to gain a more profound understanding of its grandeur. At least one planet and 100 to 400 billion stars call this vast, 950 trillion kilometer stellar system home. There are 4 primary axes that make up the Milky Way. There are hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way, including our Sun. The solar system is located here. There is no core to the Milky Way that contains the solar system. Approximately 26,000 light-years separate it from the galactic core. From a distance, the Milky Way makes it impossible to discern the position of the solar system. Its size is tiny compared to the Milky Way as a whole. The vastness of the Milky Way makes our little planet seem little. The Milky Way may appear large at first glance, but when compared to other planetary systems, its size begins to shrink. A number of nearby planets have conical shapes, such as the Milky Way, Virgo, and the Triangle. Among the galaxies, our Milky Way ranks second in size. In Virgo, Andromeda stands tallest. An approximate distance of 220,000 light-years would be required to describe this planet. It dwarfs the Milky Way by a factor of 2, however, it is only from the vantage point of the nearby planets. Looking out into space, our Milky Way appears quite little. Currently, the planet Enceladus is the biggest planet that has ever been seen. The size of this planet is approximately 16.3 million light-years. Indeed, what you heard was accurate. That is the predicted size of the planet Enceladus. Its size is approximately 163 times that of our Milky Way. The Enceladus planet has surpassed all previous discoveries as the biggest in space, according to the astounding statistics given above. The IC 1101 planet was the biggest in the cosmos until the Enceladus planet was found in February 2022, at 5.5 million light-years across. This elliptical planet is 55 times bigger than our own Milky Way galaxy. On the other hand, it has stepped back into the past and assumed control of the Enceladus planet since 2022. As we gaze up at the celestial bodies, We can't help but fantasize of soaring beyond our solar system and seeing everything that the Milky Way has to offer, but here we are in the here and now, thanks to the truth. No spacecraft without a crew has ever managed to leave the solar system. Voyager 1, operated by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is a spacecraft that spearheaded humanity's exploration of space. Not only that, but this spacecraft is farther away from Earth than any of our others. About 24.6 billion kilometers separate us from Voyager 1 at this very moment. The spacecraft has been in continuous flight since 1977, although it is still located outside of our solar system. The Voyager 1 spacecraft is scheduled to reach the fabled Oort cloud, which is located outside of our solar system, in around 300 years, according to estimates. The spaceship will be stuck in the Oort cloud for the next 30,000 years. Humans probably began keeping track of the first spacecraft's flight out of the solar system at this time. It could have to travel continuously for over 1.7 billion years if it wants to reach the Milky Way's core. When these parameters are satisfied, its trajectory will take it directly to the galactic core. I am really saddened by these figures. Space enthusiasts could be taken aback. Because reaching the Milky Way's core is an impossible feat, no matter how far we travel. The typical human lifespan is a meager few decades, dwarfed by the infinite emptiness of space. Even though space is vast, that has never stopped the space government from pursuing its goals and aspirations. The advancement of space research is like a storm, each generation comes after the one before it. Many current and future citizens of our country are fostering an ardent desire to build the universe, travel to Mars, investigate the solar system's planets, and even venture beyond our solar system's boundaries. Those people will own what's to come. There is a certain allure to space exploration. A more varied and rich planet would be the star system if stars are meant to mean individual stars like the Sun. A star system consists of a very small number of stars that are attracted to one another and share an orbit. The double star system, in which two stars circle each other, is the most common type of stellar system in the universe. Polaris, Alpha Centauri, HD 188, 753, and other three-star systems are common, albeit they do not enjoy the same level of popularity. The recently found three-star system, TIS 2900 to 61484, stands apart from the others. Scientists have found that the three stars in the peculiar system share an orbit very near to zero as they use NASA's test satellites to study the planets in their outer solar systems. The Polaris picture above shows how the three stars are positioned in relation to one another. Located closest to the Sun in our solar system, Mercury's orbit is depicted by the yellow star, which represents the Sun. You can see that the three-star system is quite tightly around each other, with the distance between the Sun and Mercury being the single separating factor. Here we have a video that mimics the system's two viewpoints. It includes both an overhead view and a frontal view that is perpendicular to the system's surface. From what we can tell from the video, the system consists of three stars, two in the center, nearly touching, and one out in the distance. The two main stars, according to the estimates, are around 6.8 and 6.1 times as massive as the Sun, respectively. Only after 1.8 Earth days does their orbital period come to a close. A third star, located on the periphery, orbits the central star every 24.5 Earth days and is 7.9 times as massive as the Sun. The system's remarkably close orbit is discovered to be heading towards the star Taurus, which is around 5,000 light-years distant. Clearly, this is the most compact three-star system that has ever been found. It wasn't until 1956 that the Lambda Tauri star's history was first documented. The three-star system known as Lambda Tauri is situated in a nebula at an approximate distance of 480 light-years. There hasn't been a tighter three-star system than this one for the last 68 years. The apparent period of rotation for the two stars within Lambda Tauri is 3.9 Earth days, whereas the third star's orbital period is 33 days. The third star of the star TIG 2900 to 61484 has an unmatched Lambda Tauri record of just 25 days to complete an orbital period. Thanks to this groundbreaking finding, the star TIG 2900 to 61484 is now officially the closest three-star system ever recorded in space. This, however, is only one of the many appealing aspects of the system. An additional companion star. Maybe a fourth star yet to be found, may exist in this system, according to scientists, with an orbital period of up to 3,200 days, equivalent to around 8.75 Earth years. This fourth star circles the third star up there, and scientists believe its mass is almost 6 times that of the Sun. The fourth star in the system has not been formally confirmed by astronomers until 2024. Even now, the TIG 2900 to 61484 system only gets 3 stars. From 2010 to 2013, scientists worked together on a project called the Planetary Observatory, and they produced the finding. The link between the Sun and the Sun captivated their infatuation with space travel. In addition, these researchers established an observational team that worked for 10 years after connecting with expert astronomers at the Gondar Space Center, which is part of NASA. After 10 years of hard work, they finally found the one-of-a-kind 3-star system up there. Having said that, this is only the first step. From this point forward, researchers can't wait to learn more about the system's formation and future evolution. The 3 stars are now in a very stable configuration as they orbit each other nearly on the same plane. The system can collapse if the 3 stars' orbits are so perturbed by gravitational pull that they are twisted in opposite directions. Having said that, the system's stability will not last indefinitely. They will also perish if the 3 stars form an intimate bond. The 2 central stars will collapse in around 20 million years. And as their shells extend outward, they will meet and explode in a Type II supernova explosion, according to scientists. Eventually, they will combine into one neutron star. The formation of this neutron star from the merger of these 3 stars might be a historic first. Perhaps it's premature to consider that, though. A significant accomplishment of the NASA test satellite was the finding of this unique 3-star system. Famously, the test satellite found extraterrestrials using a cross-sectional approach. This implies that it surveys a vast portion of the sky around once a month to track the brightness variations of thousands of stars. A star's brightness will be slightly diminished if an asteroid were to pass in front of it. It is possible to extrapolate the existence of aliens from that point forward. Since its launch in 2018, TESS has completely changed the way we think about alien planets. More than 440 aliens have been found, demonstrating the vast variety of planets in the cosmos. Discovering unusual and complicated star systems is another valuable use of TESS. Alongside the discovery of supernovae, little star systems and double stars are common places for astronomers to search for anomalies. Because of their mass and size, red, tiny, and colder stars are not overlooked for TESS's study, therefore they are also investigated. Scientists were taken aback by the finding of such a massive and luminous 3-star system. Even yet, it demonstrates that 3-star systems like TIC 2900 61484 are not uncommon. Uncover them, and they will be yours. Some may even have stronger connections than the ones we have discovered so far, thanks to advancements in technology, the rise of artificial intelligence, and most importantly, the knowledge gained from space exploration over hundreds of years. We are certain that we will be able to solve the universe's riddle. A new generation of space watchers will take to the skies in the summer of 2027. The space telescope in question is NGR, which is also called Roman. Roman space imagery will be more detailed than what TESS has been able to capture so yet. Following the light from a galaxy with hundreds of millions of stars is a primary responsibility of Roman. Astronomers will be able to use this information to find systems like TIC 2900 61484, which have the most dramatic impacts. Astronomers may use Roman to find systems with more than 3 stars, up to 6 stars in a huge ring, flying around their other. Just to sum it, Roman will go above and beyond to transport us to another realm, one in which the universe's secrets will be unveiled in an astonishing way. The European lunar surface has long been seen as the planet most likely to support life. To find out for sure, though, you'll have to go to the skies. It is with great pride that Europa Clipper accepts such an esteemed mission. The Europa Clipper touched down on Earth on October 14, 2024, marking a significant milestone. Spectators eagerly waited outside the launch pad in the hours leading up to the historic event. The mission director announced, "We have a beautiful weather, a beautiful spaceship and a wonderful rocket," during the last inspection of the whole launch system. "We are prepared to launch." From Florida's Kennedy Space Center, the Europa Clipper spacecraft was launched into SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket at 12:06 on October 14, 2024, local time, approximately 23 hours after the sunrise in Vietnam. An astounding and breathtaking sight was formed by the rocket launch pad and the launch pad in the sky. Go! Go! These were the top 3 comments on NASA's YouTube channel during the live broadcast. One may also easily see the unique allure of this spaceship. On board the spacecraft are not only the most cutting-edge scientific instruments for the search for extraterrestrial life, but also the names of millions of individuals from all around the globe. A NASA effort to have your name sent to Europe, often known as the husband signature, was launched in 2023. This spacecraft also received Hai Yen's name, which he communicated successfully. It is good to know that our little spaceship is a part of a much larger mission. The rocket's outer layer begins to separate around 4 minutes after liftoff. It keeps heading into space for another 40 minutes after that. Shortly after 3 minutes, the engine will be turned again on to propel the Europa Clipper into a higher orbit. Deploying the spacecraft from the rocket's top begins around 1 hour and 2 minutes after launch. A successful deployment of the spacecraft has been confirmed by data collected by NASA's Flight Control Center. Mechanics were ecstatic. It is from this point that the Europa Clipper sets out for Mars. However, the stage of establishing the solar power system is equally crucial. The spacecraft is instructed to deploy 2 solar energy coils around 6 hours following launch. The first step is to open up each side of the spaceship and cut the wires that connect the solar energy networks. To everyone's amazement, the 2 massive solar energy networks are now live. So far, NASA's Europa Clipper has been the agency's biggest spacecraft. The dimensions of each battery are 14.2 meters in length and 18 square meters in size. The solar energy networks created for the Europa Clipper mission are the biggest of their kind that NASA has ever created for a Mars mission. With the glass panes extended, the width of the wings can reach 30 meters. No matter how much sunlight hits each battery, it will continually produce 150 watts of power. This ensures that the spaceship has enough fuel to last the duration of the upcoming voyage. Despite the fact that solar radiation in the Jupiter area is only around 4% greater than Earth's, the Juno mission demonstrated that the spacecraft could be effectively powered by solar energy. The Europa Clipper, with a value of $5 billion, has thus far been launched. In approximately 5.5 years, it will approach Jupiter after traveling more than 2.9 billion kilometers. By June of 2030, the spacecraft should have made it to Jupiter. The first mission to explore the ocean's surface has begun, and NASA Director Bill Nixon has congratulated the Europa Clipper crew on this historic achievement. The spaceship will spend the first year after reaching Jupiter in June 2030 rerouting itself before making its maiden journey to Europe in the spring of 2031. In the 3 years that follow, the spacecraft will have covered 49 journeys over Europe. These missions will look at whether or not the moon in Europe is habitable. The 3 primary necessities for life, water, chemicals, and energy, will be the primary foci of the investigation. This is made possible by 9 pieces of scientific gear aboard the Europa Clipper. Among these, you may find a thermal imaging system that measures the surface structure and can identify warmer spots, as well as a wide-angle camera that studies geophysical activity. We will utilize a laser to analyze the air's chemical makeup for surface water droplets, and a spectrometer to identify gaseous water plumes that may be erupting from the surface based on their chemical composition. Tools to map the moon's surface are also part of this mission's equipment. Under the moon's frozen surface, other sensors will assess the ocean's depth and salinity. Mass spectrometers are intriguing instruments for studying the moon's tenuous atmosphere and any possible water plumes. The composition of the material released from these plumes will provide light on the subsurface of Europa's frozen seas. Why, though, Europa, Mars, a planet theoretically in the habitable zone of the Sun, has been the primary target of alien life searches up until recently. But with its thin atmosphere and strong radiation levels, Mars isn't thought to be the best site for life. Having said that, it is easier to investigate due to its closeness to Earth. The presence of liquid water suggests that other regions of our solar system, like Europa, may potentially be home to life. Europa is considerably smaller than Earth, yet it is thought by scientists to be home to a huge saltwater ocean with twice as much water as all of Earth's seas put together. Europa is thought to be one of the most promising solar system locations to look for livable conditions due to its enormous water content. One of the main objectives of the mission is to measure the depth of Europa's ice shell and examine the marine and ice compositions underneath it, as scientists do not yet know how thick the ice shell is. If this experiment is successful, it may lead scientists to new locations in the cosmos that are habitable. According to NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, Europa Clipper will provide light on the possibility of life outside our solar system, on billions of moons and planets, by probing them. Unknown. Having said that, we must exercise patience, since significant findings will not be forthcoming for around 6 years. Additionally, the purpose of the Europa Clipper mission is to study the possibility of life, not to immediately identify life. Future expeditions to Europa will need to be planned by scientists in order to investigate the moon more extensively if signs of life are detected, but even if we have to wait, this is still a great chance for us to get closer to finding life in the universe. Now we have reached the conclusion of this black box film, but the voyage and discoveries made by Europa Clipper are only at the start. To keep up with the newest space news, subscribe and enable alerts. Farewell, and until our next video.